Hey everyone, this is Miko from the Permit Empire. I am going to go ahead and thank everyone for tuning into this video, whether you catch this live or you catch it on the replay. I want to go ahead and thank you so much for tuning into this video. I definitely wanted to just jump in. I wanted to talk a little bit about a few things that could affect our business, building a successful permit running service. Now, I do understand it's Saturday, so you may catch us on the replay, and I appreciate again whoever jumps in here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate it. I definitely want you to know that. But I really wanted to talk about that a little bit. Hey, Shata, how you doing? Good to see you in here. But yeah, so I wanted to really just get in here and talk about a few things. Before I get started, though, I did want to just make sure I sent out a couple more emails to some people who signed up for the Permit Runner Bootcamp, right? Now, this was something that we did a few weeks ago, about a month ago at this point, right? We did this last month, and I am doing a follow up session Saturday, October 1st at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I sent down an invite to those of you who did purchase that boot camp, whether it was live or it was on the replay. I did send out an email invite. So, of course, I want to make sure that everyone got it. Hey, Takesha, and hey, Robin, good to see both of you in here. Good to see you. Thank you for joining me this Saturday. But yeah, so I wanted to just make sure that everyone got that invite. If you purchased that workshop, like I said, if it was in person or even on the replay, if you purchased it, I wanted to make sure that you got the invite. I sent down an email just stating, hey, we're going to be doing a follow-up session October 1st, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as many as possible, if you can attend that live, because I'd like to get a chance to kind of address any of your questions at that point. So if you can get in there live, I would really appreciate it. But if not, because I know it's some people's birthday that weekend. So if you cannot join in live, I got you. I will send you the replay. Okay, so you won't miss it. But I definitely would like to communicate and connect and get some questions answered. So like I said, I wanted to just get in here and talk about a few things when it comes to us building a successful permit running service, right? Now I'm talking about this because again, it's Saturday. And of course, what do I do on Saturdays? I go ahead and get myself ready for the week ahead, all that good stuff. So I'm like, let's get some time in because we're about to go into the last quarter of the year. And it's really a good time to go ahead and get our business set up just for the next year, even for just the next year, right? It's a good time. At this point, for some of our services, we may be getting a little bit slow. Some of us may be picking up. We may be in different areas. This is just kind of that time for like shopping as we're going into the holidays. But it's a good time to assess things that we've done that might not have worked so well. And it's a good time to assess those things that, hey, we need to take this out of our list of services that we do provide. So it's a good time to just kind of reflect. So with that being said, like I said, I wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about going for how we can build a successful permit running service. And I wanted to go ahead and get into that. So I just wanted to talk about three things. There's, of course, few things that we could talk about, a few more things that we could talk about as it pertains to building a business, just in general. But I wanted to talk about three things that I know really do affect a lot of people, including myself. It has affected me too. So from personal experience, I can speak on this, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about how we are communicating the services that we actually do provide. How are we letting people know? What are we saying? What verbiage are we using to let people know that this is the services that we provide? I know a lot of times we can tell people, hey, this is what we do. Like we do permit running. But do they really know exactly what it is that we offer to them? Is there more to that we offer? Now, I bring this up because and I get so many questions, even from contractors, just kind of about like, can I get more information about the permit running service you offer? But even when I was had insurance, I was doing insurance, right? And so I would put out there a lot of times that, I sell insurance. And that's kind of what I would say in a lot of cases. And I'd have people like, well, I didn't realize you sold this kind of insurance. I thought maybe you meant this insurance because I didn't clearly communicate what it was that I was doing. I did not communicate effectively that service, that type of service. I didn't let people know, hey, no, this is what I'm doing. I can offer you, life insurance or health insurance. I was not communicating that effectively enough. So I find that in general, even when I'm looking at others, like advertisement, I see that same thing. I see that it's not just me, it's others as well. hey, sometimes you're not putting out there exactly what it is you do, what services that you do provide for a potential client. Some people I see will say, let's say, like I said, I've been guilty of this myself too. So, because I do it, right? I'll just say, hey, permit running services, not listing out that yes, I will also electronically file your notice of commencements, or I will fill out permit applications. I'm not actually always letting people know that. And sometimes that can get lost because that may be a service that they need that they didn't even realize they need, or that they do know they need, but they're looking at what you do and they're like, okay, maybe that's not something that she does, or maybe that's not a service that I provide. Now, I've talked about this before. Like, I have some of my clients where, yes, I'm a permit running service, right? But some of my clients, they don't take the permit running service from me. They actually just use me for the service of recording their notice of commencements, right? Now, I know notice of commencements, that's not something that's done everywhere, but in the state of Florida, for any project that exceeds $2,500, guess what? You need a recorded notice of commencement for that project. So in a lot of cases, people need that notice of commencement here in Florida, in the state of Florida. And what I mean with that is, it's same thing in Maryland. Okay, hey, yes. So, and what I mean with that is, for any time a project, let's say you're doing a fence project, and the material for that fence costs $2,000. But then you have to pay someone to do the labor, and let's say that costs $500. So in total, that's a $2,500 project. It needs a notice of commencement to be filed and to be recorded. Now, I have a particular client. He does his own permits. And in a lot of cases, he'll go in person. He may upload his permits because, of course, in his business, where he's at in business, he's almost at that stage of kind of like retirement, right? He's to where he's not physically doing the labor. He hires people to do the physical labor, and he really just handles the paperwork aspect of it. That's really what he does. So he hires me to do the notice of commencements, to record the notice of commencements. Again, what I usually put out there is permit running services. That's what I'm usually talking about. But our relationship, he doesn't need me for that service. He needs me for recording that notice of commencement. And recording that notice of commencement is a very quick thing. It's I can charge, I don't have to charge so much as I do for a permit running service, but it doesn't take as much time either. It doesn't take nearly as much time. And it's one of those things that let's say the customer, he'll give me his notice of commencement, his signed notice of commencement. I can have that recorded all in the same day. So I can just get paid for it. Like, I usually, when they give that to me, I usually send them over an invoice, and I can get paid for it right then and there, because shortly thereafter, I will have their recorded notice of commencement anyway, right? It's a pretty quick process. And this is one way that, yes, I actually make income from that. Most of my clients I actually have to record notice of commencements for. But like I said, I had this one particular client. He does not need me for permit running services. He just needs me for this particular service. Well, with that being said, if that's all he needs me for, maybe someone else could use me for the same thing. They may not want me to run their permits, because I get asked this a lot too. From like, when I'm doing any consultation, sometimes I'll get asked like, hey, what if they already have an in-house person, or what if they have someone? Well, you can also offer other services, right, to that client, but they need to know that that's something that you offer. So putting out the fact that, yes, I record notice of commencements, that needs to always be a part of my advertisement. For the most part, that needs to be a part of it. That needs to be something people see. So even in your instance, let's say that your area does not need the notice of commencements recorded, right? Let's say that. Well, can you assist with filling out permit applications? Is there another service that you can provide for someone? Because a lot of my clients, I actually fill out their permit applications for them. I do more of that than I actually do notarizing the signatures for them. They use me a lot more to actually fill out the permit application. And yes, it's just addresses and contract information, that kind of stuff. But I have more clients who utilize me for that service. That may be something that you can do as well, right? So that's something that you want to have out on your advertisement, not just permit running or whatever services that you choose to provide. You may want to really get detailed in that so that your client knows exactly what it is you offer, because we have to clearly communicate that. Because, like, again, I'm not just making money from the permit running portion. Like I said, I have clients who I'm just doing the notice of commencement. That is additional income. That is additional money into my business for a simple, quick service. That's additional money. But also, that is something that I needed to clearly communicate to my potential clientele. This is something I do, and this is something I can do for you. And guess what? I can make money this way, right? So that's one of those things that we really, really should be looking at, is the way that we are, advertising maybe what it is that we're doing, or what services that we're providing. We need to look at that. Is it clearly showing what it is that I do? Do people understand what I'm doing? Even breaking it down to simple, like into simple pieces, that might make it easier for some people to just see. Hey, you do permit running? Great. But what does that entail? Will you fill this permit out for me? Will you notarize my documents? We may want to have to consider breaking that down so that people can really see what services that we provide and how we can be of assistance to them, right? Because that is a way, like I said, not just that you're providing this one service, that's a way to show that I'm providing these multiple services that may benefit your business, right? Therefore, making more income for myself, building my business, right? Building your business, right? So that's one thing that we want to make sure that we're doing right. Like I said, clearly, effectively communicating what it is that we are doing, what services that we are providing. We want to make sure that we're doing that. Now, we also don't want to forget to market our services. We just don't want to. We don't want to forget to market our services. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go ahead and raise my hand. I was super guilty. This last week, I did not post one thing on social media. I did not market my services at all. I was so crazy busy this last week. And usually what I do is, like, even on Saturdays, I'll go ahead and kind of set up or schedule out some of my posts. And I didn't do that. I did not do that because I have had a really busy last couple of weeks, right? But this is something, even myself, we have to do that. We have to make sure that we're constantly marketing, constantly putting our business out there in front of our potential clients, and not just anybody, right? We want to make sure that the clientele, or that the businesses, or the people, the individuals that could utilize our services, we want to make sure they're seeing our services, right? I have noticed, this is something I noticed, right? I noticed that like, because I'm in several of the notary groups too, right? Because I am a notary. Yes, I'm a permit runner, but I'm a notary. But I'll notice that sometimes that people will advertise their services in those notary groups. And not that there's something wrong with that, right? You want as many people to know about your business as possible. But I'm also looking at that and hoping that they're also putting that information out into other groups that actually could utilize their services, right? Because if you are, pretty much advertising your services to just like people, like businesses, you not get the great return that you could if you were actually advertising it to those who truly need your service on a daily basis. Now, yes, I do need, notaries as well sometimes. Like, I will, so I always network, and I let everybody else know, hey, this is what we should be doing. We should be networking with others, because there's some occasions where I need a notary too. So I'm not knocking that at all. But what I am saying is, I hope that that's not the only place that they're marketing their services to a group of like individuals or businesses. You want to make sure that you're also putting your business out there in front of potential clients, such as management companies, project managers, different individuals, different businesses that could potentially need your services, and on a consistent basis as well, right? Because a lot of those, let me tell you, I have this property management company, and they're constantly sending me an email. They don't even call me. They just send me an email early in the morning, and they're like, we need this. Like, we need this document, research. We need this information. We need certified copies of something. And it's a consistent, and I've noticed, I thought it was the most interesting thing, how much this property management company utilizes my services, right? And this is also another situation where it's that I don't only do the permit running portion, I do other services. So they see that and they're like, okay, can you do this? Can you do this? I need this. They'll send me an email early in the morning, urgent. And everything's urgent with them, right? Let's say everything's urgent. It's not, but everything's urgent with them, right? But that is like a consistent client. And it's a property management company. They're consistently sending me work, right? So much so that now when I go in to, like, retrieve documents for them, right? The clerks already know. They're like, hey, you didn't come in last week. Like, they're already talking to me, like, you didn't come in last week. So it's like I've now, been there so much getting their documents, it's like it's such a consistent client. The people in the office know me now, right? They just know who I am. They know I'm coming in here. They're like, how many do you have today? Like I'll come in, they're like, how many do you have today? Right? When they see me, they automatically know, okay, there's quite a few things about to happen here, right? So, but that is just one of those things. You have to make sure that not only are you, advertising to like people, of course, we want to network. We want to make sure that, hey, in case you need me, you know where to find me, but you want to make sure that your ideal client, those clients that'll consistently bring you in those jobs or those projects where you'll actually be, making money, you want to make sure that they can see your information as well. You want to make sure that they have access to you. You want to make sure you're staying in front of them as much as possible. Wagon Maker Esquire, you advise to start with permits pulled by homeowners who plan to DIY. They fill it out online, print it, and sign it. I transfer to the local BDS in their name or mine if I have accounts. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I understand your question or your statement. Not 100% sure. So, but I'm going to talk about that too. But yes, but we want to make sure that we are marketing to the people, to the individuals, even homeowners. We want to make sure we're putting our services out there in front of them. Homeowners are a very good place to start as well. I don't do so many homeowner projects myself personally. I definitely did more before, but I'm doing a lot less of those now. Question. Okay, good. All right, so I'm doing a lot less of those now. But yes, they are an actual good place to start. But remember, Wagon Maker, here's the thing when you're dealing with homeowners a lot of times. You're really hand holding and kind of walking them through that process too. Like you want to make sure that you're going to be giving them attention, and you're probably going to be giving them a little more attention than you would be to a contractor or a project manager or property management company. You're going to be giving them some real attention. So just make sure that you're prepared for that as well. But no, those are good permits to start with. Definitely homeowner projects, definitely good permits to start with. Again, you're going to be hand holding a little bit more just in case there are certain documents that they need. You want to make sure that you're aware of those documents. The building department will or usually has a list of what's needed for different projects, right? So let's say it's a fence project, and just because I was just talking about a fence, so let's keep going with a fence project, right? So let's say it's a fence project. Usually your building department, your local municipality has a list of what's required for that type of permit. Even for a homeowner, they have a list of that. So you just want to make sure that, hey, if you have a client who is a homeowner, that you and you ask them, of course, what project is it that you would like to, get a permit for, you want to make sure that, yes, you go back to your building department and check what is needed. So that way you'll be able to assist your client with that information, right? But it is a really good place to start, and you can set up your own account as a permit runner with your local municipality, or you could have the client do it themselves online too, and you can assist even with that. So yes, that's a good place to start though. Yes, Robin, you're right. Homeowners don't know a lot, and sometimes their patience can run a little bit thin because they don't understand the process. A lot of times with contractors, they're like, yeah, the city's out to get me. Like sometimes that's how it'll be with contractors. So they are already ready for a problem to happen. And that's why I deal with them a little bit more, just because they kind of have an idea of how this is going to go down, right? Shata, when I randomly offered my services to someone I saw working on a building, he asked who I previously ran permits for. I love the little emoji. So, but yes, that is something you'll come across too. We're gonna talk about that though. But we want to make sure that we are definitely marketing to the right type of clients. Yes, that's a good answer too, Shasta. But we're gonna talk about that. But that is a good that's a good response you gave there. So yes, we want to make sure though that we are staying in front of the type of clients that we need to be in front of as much as possible, right? So that means sometimes that we may have to get we have to start putting some more advertisement on Facebook, on Instagram. If you do TikTok, you want to make sure that you are posting. You want to make sure you're regularly posting to your social media pages for your business. I always advise it's best to have a business page on social media for your business, right? Because it looks official at that point. It at least looks official. Nothing wrong with advertising your services on your personal page, but It's a business, right? It really is a business. Treat it as such. Give it its own page and advertise from there. Get yourself in front of your clients with your business page, right? All right, so now that we have that information, like I said, we want to make sure that we're communicating effectively what it is we do, what services we provide, but we also want to make sure that we're in front of the right clients, right? We don't want to let that go. Let's make sure we're in front of our right clients. Now, and this is something else I want to say before I move on to the next thing. Is sometimes that I see that people will say, my family and friends are not supporting me. In permit running, sometimes that's not a thing because a lot of times our family friends may not need our services. So you can speak to them about that because maybe, just maybe, they know someone who does need it, right? But I don't want us to get so hung up on that. Make sure, hey, those we're putting our services on our social media pages and we're blasting it out there so that we don't have to depend on necessarily the family and friend way to go. No, put your services on their own business page and get in front of your ideal client, right? So last thing I wanted to talk about with building your successful permit running service, your business. Last thing I wanted to talk about is literally charge enough. Please charge enough for your services. I see a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people because I'm doing the consultations, right? So I talk to a lot of people, and sometimes people want to jump in at those really, really low ball prices. You're lowballing yourself. It is so hard to build a business without money. It just is. If you are not making enough money, I'm telling you right now, if you're not making enough money in business, you will go out of business. That's just it. That's just it. Right? If you're not making enough money in business, you're going to go out of business. It's stressful, right? You're providing services, you're working, you're doing your due diligence, you're doing what you should be doing, right? But yet you're not charging enough for your services. It is a recipe for disaster right there, right? You have a good service. You're providing a service for one, especially if it's permit running, right? You're providing a service that is truly needed. It is truly, truly needed, right? And you're not getting compensated enough. You can't do that. You can't build like that. So I always try to get everyone to look at, how much do you really want to be? How much do you need to be compensated? But how much would you like to also make in addition to that? It's not just about strictly making enough money to pay your bills. You're in business for a reason, right? We need to be able to pay our bills, but we also need to be able to grow our business. And it takes money to grow your business. It takes money to pay your bills, but it takes money to also grow your business because you can't take everything that you make and put it into your bills. You want to take some money and be able to reinvest it in your business, education. You want to make sure that your laptop, your computers, everything is up to date as much as possible, right? You want to make sure that you're able to do that. So by making enough money with the services you provide, you want to do that, right? And here's something I did make another video before, an older video where I talked about how much you should charge for permit running services. And I had to step off of that just a little bit because I was saying, I believe I said that starting rate, if you're in like a rural area, right, should be like $100. That's what I was saying, right? And I stepped away from that because what I noticed is that like everyone kept saying when I'm doing a consultation, right? Even in my DMs, I'm getting this question. People are talking to me about, okay, I'm trying to get a new client. I'm making my flyer and I'm putting $100. That's how much I'm offering my services for $100. And I'm even looking at the area you're in, and I'm like, I know you are not in a rural area. You're in an area where construction is booming, homes are being built. People are, purchasing homes in your area. And so therefore they're probably doing renovations. There's probably a lot of renovations going on. And yet people are saying that, okay, because I kind of heard that video, I'm going to start at $100. And what I'm saying is don't lowball yourself. If you're in an area where you can make more money, then make more money. You need to be compensated for your time, your gas, your paper. You need to be compensated. Who's paying for your insurance? All of those different things. You need to be compensated for that, right? Because you can do all of the things. You can have an awesome service. You can have great advertising, marketing. You can be doing all of that, right? And you can be doing it right. If you're not making enough money, you're not going to make it. And let's say you get a lot of clients because, hey, I'm charging this a really low fee, so I'm getting a lot of clients. you're going to burn out at some point because it still is work. Permanent running is still work. It still takes it takes your time. It does still take your effort. Sure, some of it's online. It might be something that's pretty quick, but it still takes your time. It still takes your effort, right? And I'm sorry, I think I missed someone's question. Oh, okay, Robin, you're saying do I suggest we create a website before we start marketing our services? No, I don't suggest that, right? Let's say, Robin, you haven't gotten your website together, and Shanta, before you start, I'm working on it. So, but let's say, right, Robin, you're waiting for your website to get up. No, you can. There's free resources such as Facebook, Instagram. You can put your if you go ahead and get your business page set up first, at least there is something that when people are researching your company, you do show up, right? You do show up there. So no, don't just wait until you have that going before you actually put your services out there. No, don't wait on it. Go ahead, get yourself set up on social media, post your information, put it all there, put your business information there, and let that serve for you until you get that website up. And then that's in addition to all of the other good stuff you got going on anyway, right? So, but yes, no, don't underbid yourself. Yes, Shanta, I see like others saying like those low prices. I stepped away from that because it's not realistic. It's not, right? You can do it for that amount. You can, right? You can do it for that amount. But how long do you think that's going to last? Like, seriously, how long do you think $65 is going to last? Now, I know every area is different. I know the cost of living is different in this area or this area. I get it, right? But for me, that's why I'm saying in a rural area, then sure, maybe you could charge a little bit lower. But some of these areas where I see people are saying, I'm going to charge these low rates, I know they're not going to last very long. And even with that, Shanta, here's the other thing, what I'm saying about that type of thing. I know someone also, and they were doing permit running. We've had many conversations, like I know them personally, right? In my area, and we've had conversations and, all that good stuff. Like we've talked, like, whatever. And their fee is a little bit lower, right? And here's the problem with that is they have to stay on their job, even though they don't want to. Now, some people, they want to stay on their job. I get it. I understand for insurance purposes, for, different reasons. You're looking to stay on my job and I just want to do something on the side. But this individual I know did not want, that wasn't the goal. The goal was not to stay on their job. Their goal was to do this full time. And that was the goal, right? But they're not able to because those fees are so low. Sure, you can get the clients, but how long is that? Where's that going to take you? And so that's why, like, honestly, for me, when I'm talking to like you all, right? If you'll listen, like, whoever's willing to listen to me, for the most part, I'm talking to you. Don't do those low ball prices. Don't do that because you will burn out. You'll see that you're getting so many clients, right? People are signing up, yeah, do my permits. You'll be burnt out and making like no money. Right? Be fair to yourself. Be fair to yourself. Charge enough for the services that you provide. Be fair to yourself, right? If you want this to be something that lasts, this may, for some people, hey, this may be something that you want to just do part-time. You want to do around your schedule. You want to keep your job. Like I said, that might be what you want to do. But consider, right? Consider, for those of you who are like, I'm taking this serious. This is a part of my business. I'm in business to stay in business, and this is going to be a part of my business, or this is going to be the business, right? There's no way to keep to charge that amount and stay in business effectively. It's no way. So usually when I'm, like I said, anyone willing to have a conversation with me or listen to anything I have to say, no, I really believe, because I see what people get paid for permanent running services. I understand. And I do, when I see those low ball offers, I don't know where that's like, I don't know what made them choose that, maybe to get clients, but don't do that to yourself, because you will find yourself burnt out. You'll find yourself out of business. And that's just the truth. It's just the truth. So make sure you're compensated fairly. Like I said, I stopped even telling people $100. start at $100 in rural areas. I stopped telling people because everyone kept going to okay, I'll charge $100. No, you definitely can make more money than that. And for the most part, let's just be real, you're going to need more money than that to stay in business and to pay bills. You know, for the most part, you're going to need more money than that anyway, right? Okay. I know some people think they'll make it up with volume. That's a quick way to burn yourself out by saying, I'll make it up in volume. Don't do that to yourself. Make sure you're being compensated fairly for the services that you do provide, right? Make sure you need to consider, even with the permits being online, I don't charge differently for online permits versus in-person permits. I do not charge differently. I don't charge, I charge the same fee. There may be instances, and there has been instances where I'll even though it's an online permit, I will still have to go in person. There's so many variables sometimes that you'll see happens. No, this is your set rate. This is how much you charge, and this is what it is, right? And for some of those clients, I have been in situations, I'm sure I've said this before, where I had a client, he was talking to me about permit running services, and I told him how much I charge, and he's like, oh, you must drive a Mercedes Benz. You must be so fancy. I can't afford you. And then he wanted to argue with me about my fees. Listen, you're not my client. You're not my ideal client if you're going to argue with me about these fees. Because just imagine now you're going to get into service with someone with that type of mindset of, I want to be paid for my services, but I don't think anybody else should be, paid much. Because honestly, it's not any of your concern if I drive a Mercedes Benz or not. I'm in business, right? Just like you're in business, I'm in business. Some of these clients you're not going to want, right? Those ones who only want to nickel and dime you for your services, no, those are not the clients you want in the first place. You can leave those to those individuals who want to charge really, really low. You can leave them there, right? But make sure that you are being compensated fairly for the services that you are providing. Don't waste your time. And I mean that. I mean that. I understand in business, this business, right? We're servicing our client. We're assisting our client. We become a team for the most part. I get that. But your time is still valuable, right? Don't waste your time by doing services at a discounted rate. And then when you're out of business and they're still in business and you're looking for a job, if that's not your goal, that's not your goal. You want to do what it takes to keep yourself in business, right? Shanta, you don't know how to charge for general notary. Oh, let's see. All right, Expert Notary Express. You are in Tampa and you're thinking $150 to $175 to file NOC, complete application, and file for permits. One permit or per permit, I'm guessing that you're saying. Expert Notary Express. That's not bad. That's not bad. You're in Tampa. Oh yeah. Tampa's so I haven't been in Tampa in a little while, but Tampa's I really enjoyed that area. The whole Bay Area, that thing is nice. But there's a lot of construction. I noticed there's a lot of construction going on. That's not bad at all. I'm looking at Tampa and I'm like, you can go up a little bit more, but that's not bad. That's not bad, at least even to start. Yes, I'm looking at Tampa and I'm like, you could charge a little bit more. Just because I was noticing, even when I was there, right? I was noticing how much construction looks like it's happening in Tampa. It's like a lot of work is going on in Tampa, right? But that's not bad. That's not a bad fee at all to charge. I'm not going to say much about that. Yes. So yeah, I think that's a good rate to charge. But yes, and even Shanta, something to consider. You're saying that you're kind of lost with general notary work, because I still do some general notary work too. But I kind of look at that also from how much do I want to make. Like I look at it almost from an administrative rate, because in Florida we can only charge $10 for notarizing a document, like the actual service of notarizing. We can only charge like $10. But I'm also considering my travel time, and how much you can charge per mile. I'm looking at that, but I'm also considering my administrative time, especially if I'm going out to meet with you somewhere. I'm considering how much I need to be paid, almost as if I was in an office. I don't usually look at things necessarily so much as like if I'm working for someone, but I kind of process those things like from an hourly standpoint, hourly rate almost. That's how I'm kind of looking at it. And that kind of works for me. But yeah, so that's kind of how I look at doing some of the general notary work. But yeah, we want, great services just to also have into your business. But yes, I definitely think that we should make sure we are charging accordingly. Yes, expert notary, consulting permit expediters in your area will definitely provide more insight on where to start with your fees. Yes, definitely. That definitely will help you for sure. But even with that, making sure you're speaking to, um, because like I said, I had a friend here who was also doing permit running services, and her fees were a little bit lower. But of course, if if everyone is thinking, or if some of the new permit runners are going in with that idea of, oh, it's $75 or $100, you can kind of get caught in that, because if that's the people that you're talking to, then that's what you're going to hear. So definitely, if you can speak to maybe someone who has a business set up, not to down anyone else's business or a new person, but someone who's like established, you know what I mean? Like, if you can speak to someone like that, that would be great for you as well, if they're willing to offer you that information, or like you said, do a consultation with them. That would definitely be helpful as well if you could do that, right? But yes, so like I said, I wanted to talk about 3 ways that we can get this permit running service going, and build a profitable service, right? We want to make sure that we have our message out there clearly communicated. We want to make sure we're advertising our services to the right individuals, businesses. We want to make sure that it's out there where they can see us, right? And we just want to make sure that we are charging enough for our services, because if we're out here and we're doing all the things right, everything we got it going on, we just say, hey, I'm doing this service, I got these clients, but we are not charging enough, we will definitely find ourselves out of business, right? Oh, hi, LaQuisa, good to see you in here as well, right? But yes, so if well, I want to thank you all first and foremost for spending your time here. For those of you who are live with me right now, I want to thank you so much for spending your time here with me on a Saturday. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I do. I also just want to throw out again, I started this at the beginning, and I just wanted to say as well, for those of you who did the boot camp, right? For those of you who did the boot camp with me live, and for those of you who purchased the replay, we are doing the follow-up session on October 1st at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I sent out the invites via email. I sent out the invites with the Zoom link. And as many of you as possible who get that invite, if you can attend live while it's happening at 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on October 1st, I would really appreciate it, because I definitely want us to be able to communicate and have a conversation basically about where you are right now. I wanted to do this follow-up. I didn't want to just leave you out there. I wanted to do this follow-up so we can move forward. We're going to be going into a new year soon, right? We're going into now the last quarter of the year. So it is just time for us to definitely make sure that we have our business together, to make sure that we're able to effectively advertise our business, to effectively communicate our service. We want to make sure that we know what we're doing for the most part, right? In business. So I really wanted to follow up so that I'm making sure, hey, if you have any questions, because you want to make sure adding this service in is, what you need to do, or what it is that you need to do to continue with this service, right? I just want to make sure that we get a conversation going, and I can, talk to you, and we can see where we all are, right? Because if you did the boot camp, I at least know what information you have, right? I know that for sure. So I know kind of how we can maneuver forward from there. But again, if you can attend it live, I would really appreciate it, right? I would really love to have that interaction with you. But again, thank you so much for spending your time in here with me today. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. All right. If you have any questions, you have any comments, definitely feel free to leave those in the comments section. I try to answer or respond to as many of the questions or comments that I can. So please feel free to leave them there. And I look forward to chit-chatting with you later. Thank you again. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend.